Welcome. I'm your host. Today, using AI reconstruction tools, we can actually see what this map looked like when it was first unrolled, and what was on it that should have been impossible. Let's go back to 1513. In 1929, a group of historians were cataloging old documents in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul. They found a map. It was drawn on gazelle skin, dated 1513, signed by an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis. The map showed Europe, it showed Africa, it showed the eastern coast of South America with remarkable accuracy for 1513. And then, at the bottom, it showed something else, a coastline. A long, detailed, surprisingly accurate coastline of a continent that would not be officially discovered for another 300 years. Antarctica. The continent was completely unknown to European civilization in 1513. The first confirmed sighting of Antarctica happened in 1820. The first detailed mapping of its coastline happened in the 20th century, using modern equipment. But there it was, on a map from 1513, in detail. How? That is the question nobody has fully answered, and the possible answers are more disturbing than the question itself. Before we talk about what the map shows, you need to understand who drew it. Piri Reis was not a fraud. He was not a mystic. He was one of the most respected naval commanders in the Ottoman Empire. His full name was Haji Muhyiddin Piri Abin Haji Mehmed. He was born around 1470 in what is now Western Turkey. His uncle, Kemalidus, was a famous privateer and Ottoman naval captain. Piri sailed with him from a young age, learning navigation, cartography, and seamanship in the Mediterranean. By the early 1500s, Piri Reis had fought in multiple naval battles, participated in Ottoman campaigns across the Mediterranean, and developed an obsessive interest in maps. This is important. Piri Reis was not drawing from imagination. He was a professional navigator, a man who understood the sea and understood maps. When he drew something, he drew it from sources. The question is what sources he had access to. He compiled his geographical knowledge into a book called the Kitab-ı, a detailed sailing manual covering the Mediterranean. It became one of the most important navigational texts of the 16th century. The map we found in 1929 was different. It was a world map, or rather, a fragment of one. We have the western portion, showing the Atlantic, the Americas, and what appears to be a southern continent. The eastern portion is lost. On the map itself, Piri Reis wrote notes in the margins explaining his sources. He wrote that he had compiled the map from approximately 20 ancient source maps, including maps used by Christopher Columbus, maps from the time of Alexander the Great, and older maps from Arab and Portuguese sources. He was not claiming to have discovered these coastlines himself. He was claiming to have copied them from older maps, maps that no longer exist. Let's look at what is actually on this map and why it matters. The accuracy of the South American coastline is striking for 1513. The Amazon River is shown. The general shape of the continent is recognizable. There are errors, but for the time period, the level of detail is remarkable. Then there is the southern landmass. At the bottom of the map, connected to or near the southern tip of South America, there is a large landmass with a detailed coastline. It curves, it has bays and inlets, it has geographic features. In 1513, this should have been empty space. The theory that this represents Antarctica was first seriously proposed in 1960 by a retired American history professor named Charles Hapgood. He sent a copy of the map to the United States Air Force Cartographic Department for analysis. What the Air Force cartographers wrote back is one of the most remarkable documents in this entire story. They confirmed that the coastline on the Piri Reis map, when corrected for projection, matched the coastline of Antarctica, specifically the coastline under the ice sheet. Not the ice we see today, the rock underneath it. This is the detail that stops people cold. The Antarctic coastline we know today is the surface of the ice. The actual rock coastline underneath the ice has only been mapped using modern seismic equipment, sonar, and satellite technology. That mapping was not completed until the late 20th century, and yet the Piri Reis map appears to show subglacial features that match the underlying rock geography. If this is true, whoever created the source maps that Piri Reis copied was surveying Antarctica before it was covered by its current ice sheet. The ice sheet that covers Antarctica today began forming approximately 6,000 years ago. Before that, large portions of the continent were ice-free. 6,000 years ago, that is, before written history, before Egypt, before Mesopotamia, before any civilization we know about that had the capability of oceanic navigation. There are three serious explanations for the Piri Reis map. None of them are comfortable. The first theory is the lost civilization theory. This is the most dramatic explanation. Before the last ice age ended, perhaps 12,000 years ago, there existed a civilization advanced enough to navigate the world's oceans and map its coastlines. This civilization collapsed, possibly due to the catastrophic climate changes at the end of the Ice Age, and almost nothing survived. But some of their maps did, preserved and copied and recopied through thousands of years of human history, eventually reaching the ancient libraries of the Mediterranean world, where Piri Reis found them. This theory is impossible to prove. It is also impossible to definitively disprove. The second theory is the ancient mariner theory, less dramatic but still extraordinary. Not a lost advanced civilization, but ancient seafaring cultures, Phoenicians perhaps, or unknown Pacific navigators who reached Antarctica thousands of years before modern Europeans and somehow mapped what they found. Their maps were preserved in ancient libraries, copied into Arabic and Greek geographical traditions, and eventually reached Piri Reis. The third theory is the one most mainstream historians prefer, and it's honestly not much more comfortable than the others. The theory is that the southern landmass on the map is not Antarctica at all. It's a mistake. A misidentification. That Piri Reis was trying to draw Patagonia, or the tip of South America, and got confused between his sources, and the resemblance to the Antarctic subglacial coastline is coincidence. The problem with the third theory is the Air Force analysis. If it were simply coincidence, the match would be general. But the reported correspondence between specific geographic features, bays, inlets, promontories, and the actual subglacial coastline goes beyond what random coincidence should produce. Hapgood's analysis has been criticized. Some cartographers argue his projections were selectively adjusted to produce the match. Some argue the features he identified are too vague to be meaningful. The debate has never been resolved. The map still exists. You can see it today in the Topkapi Palace Museum in Istanbul. The original gazelle skin. The original ink. The marginalia in Ottoman Turkish, explaining the sources that are now lost. In 2016, a Turkish academic paper claimed to have found additional source material suggesting the southern landmass was indeed meant to represent a hypothetical southern continent, Terra Australis Incognita, the unknown southern land that ancient and medieval geographers theorized must exist to balance the land masses of the northern hemisphere. This would make the resemblance to Antarctica coincidental, but it would not explain the subglacial coastline match, and it would not answer a deeper question. If the ancient geographers were simply theorizing about a southern continent that must exist, why does the Piri Reis version of that imaginary continent have specific geographic features that match real subglacial geography? Imagination does not produce accurate coastlines. Either Piri Reis copied from maps of a real place, or the match is coincidence. Neither answer is satisfying. In 1513, Piri Reis unrolled his gazelle skin and drew what his sources showed him. He did not claim to understand everything on the map. He was a compiler, not an explorer. He was drawing from knowledge that came before him. The knowledge that came before him may be the most important thing we have lost. We know how ancient Rome fell. We know who burned the Library of Alexandria. We know the names of the people who made decisions that erased history. What we don't know is what was in those libraries before the fires. What was on those maps before the copies of copies degraded into fragments that a Turkish admiral assembled in 1513 and signed with his name. What we don't know is how much of human history is still waiting to be found. In a palace. On a piece of gazelle skin, showing a coastline that should not be there, what do you think? Lost civilization, ancient mariners. Coincidence? Drop your answer in the comments, and if this made you think about how much of human history we still don't understand, hit subscribe. This was the Piri Reis map, the map that should not exist. Some secrets don't get buried, they get drawn.